How do you deal with chronic fatigue syndrome? It can be really hard, but I hope that this video really helps you with some practical tips, the cognitive, the mental and the physical aspects of it, and things you can do to help you. And if you stay to the end, I have a bonus section for you when I show you some products that have really helped me. So let's get into it. So hi there, I'm Katie Simpson and I have chronic fatigue syndrome, and I love helping people to look better and feel better naturally with this condition. I'm not a doctor, so these tips have come from my personal experience. So first of all, what is chronic fatigue syndrome? Well, it's when you feel crushingly exhausted and you rest and that doesn't help, and you sleep and that doesn't necessarily help, and in any way you might not be able to sleep at night time. When you take exercise, that can really make you worse, and it comes with a whole load of other symptoms too. So see my video up here if you'd like to know what those symptoms are. Who gets chronic fatigue syndrome? Well, often people who are A-type personalities. They're people who love to succeed in their fields of interest, and they tend to push themselves, and that can be part of the problem. Let's get into 3 areas where if you work on it, it can actually help your chronic fatigue syndrome. So first of all, diet, supplements and medications. Now, because I'm not a doctor in any way, I can't prescribe anything on this channel. Sometimes diets can help people with chronic fatigue syndrome. It can just ease their gut if their gut is struggling with a certain food or food type, and you will know that because of symptoms that you get. If you're a bit gentle with yourself and don't overload your system with those things, that can help, but sometimes it can actually make people worse if there's somebody who is stressing about food. And the same goes with medications and supplements. If you feel something's helping you, great. If you're worrying about this or that, probably best just to leave it. So I've split this video into 3 areas: the mental, the cognitive and the physical, because all these things play a part in our lives, and we mustn't miss any of those out, because one or other might really cause us some fatigue. So let's focus on the mental first. So a thing that I think is really helpful to help you is just to try and limit your stress load. I know that's so easy to say and difficult to do, but try and stay calm. And personally with me, that is helping me as I'm learning to do that. I'm learning not to panic, not to have those panic attacks, anxiety episodes. I'm learning to calm my mind and tell my mind, you're safe, everything's okay. And that seems to really help. Another thing I like to do is celebrate small wins each day, even if they're tiny things. Even if you feel that you're flaring up with your symptoms and you're just completely flat out in bed and not able to talk or do anything really. The tiny little wins, maybe you heard a bird sing, something like that. Celebrate those moments, and if you can write them down, or if you can say them to yourself and say well done at the end of the day, that does really help. And I love this one: do something that makes you laugh each day. That can really help the nervous system to calm down and give you good hormones. Do something to laugh. Another thing, be kind to yourself and don't beat yourself up. This can be really key for people with chronic fatigue, because often we're told by people, oh, you look fine, why couldn't you do this? Why can't you do that? You're all right that day, what's wrong with you today? And all these things, and we can feel them emotionally too, and so we can really beat ourselves up. And if we're kind to ourselves and just say, you're doing well, everything's okay, you just need to rest at this time, that can really help too. So not focusing on your ailments and letting your mind go round and round and round in circles over it and Googling it endlessly. I understand why we have to do that, because we feel we've got to be our own doctors sometimes. But just tell yourself that you're okay and just try and calm your nervous system down, and instead just try and focus on happy things, things that make you smile. And also focus on the here and now. Something that's really helping me is when I really get in my head and I'm worrying about this or that, the past, what might happen in the future, all these things, I can actually not feel present at all. And feeling that I am here, this is my body, I am sitting here, and just noticing different parts of your body, noticing your feet on the floor, noticing the air that you're breathing, any smells, noticing what you're seeing around you, and just being mindful of where you are. So second, the cognitive. So if you're anything like me and you're having to be in bed quite a lot of the time, but you're feeling up to reading things on the computer, looking at screens, learning, taking in lots, just be aware that that does actually take quite a lot of energy as well. And just learn to be aware of how much energy that's taking from you. So physical. So have you heard of the spoon theory before? It's a theory that everybody has the same sort of amount of energy each day. The different things that you do, different activities during the day, use up a certain amount of spoons. And so everybody starts with 20 spoons, and it might be that your energy levels are so low that doing something like the washing up uses all those 20 spoons, or maybe even more, so you can't do that. So you need to work out with this theory how many spoons, in inverted commas, those activities use up. And just be aware during the day of how many spoons you're using. And there are free apps that help you to count down your spoons. So that can be really helpful. But for me personally, I've found that my mental state, things that affect me mentally and emotionally, can be more draining than the activities themselves often. So spoon theory, for me personally, only works a little bit. So with the physical aspects, I've worked out things that really exhaust me, and this is often with people with chronic fatigue. Extremes of various things, stimulants, can exhaust you. For example, extremes of temperature, extremes of sound, really strong smells, really bright lights. So if any of those affect you, then just think of ways that you can limit them. And if you stay to the end, I'll show you some tips. Now, this is a big one for us with chronic fatigue. Try and focus on your sleep. So again, there are some tips at the end, but think about your circadian rhythm. If you're not sure what that is, look it up on YouTube and try and get your body into a natural rhythm. And if you have to take natural supplements to help you with that, that's a good idea. Turn off your screens, all those sort of things can help. Going to bed at the same time can help, and going to bed before midnight can really help too. And do whatever you can to just help your body to get that restorative sleep. So people say pace yourself, which is really helpful. But one doctor called Dr. Perrin of the Perrin technique, he's written a book about chronic fatigue syndrome, which is fascinating. Do go and have a look. I'll put it in the description below. He says do half of what you think you can do, because if you're an A-type personality, you're used to pushing yourself and you think, oh, I'll just hold back a bit. Or he says do half of what you think you can do, and that's probably right. So let's get into the bonus things, items that have helped me. So I've got some things here that help me, and I'm just going to talk about them briefly, and if you see a video here you'll see I go into more detail with them. So a cold facial spritz can really help to cool you. Essential oils that you can roll on you and smell when you feel really anxious or tense. Something that's really helped me is halo therapy. This is a pocket halo therapy device. There's a video for it up here. sunglasses. It really helps me with those bright lights. To sleep, a sleep mask and earplugs, brilliant. And also you can get earplugs for during the day as well. There'll be some links in the description for those things. Epsom salts can really help to relax you, help you to sleep and help the magnesium in your system. A warm light for nighttime. This is a Himalayan salt lamp, which is nice because of the salt aspect as well, but it gives off a lovely warmth as well. Warm light helps you to relax and sleep. And this thing has really helped me too. This is like a stick that you can use, but when you just open it up, it's not very hard to do, and you can sit on it, and it's actually surprisingly comfy. So thank you for watching. I hope it's helped you. Do consider subscribing or sharing this with a loved one if it has, and I wish you all the best health, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.